Hello, I'm Enigma, your crash out queen and or Riley, and this is my co-host Brooke.
Yo.
And we are your crash out queens. Honestly, Brooke, for once, I feel like I'm in pretty high spirits for a podcast
I
episode.
don't believe that.
You what?
I don't believe that.
No, I honestly think the being able to actually have completed the Minecraft server arc that I have been on for 48 hours now
It's giving you like a
has
high.
given me a high. Like, I'm sitting here and I'm like, I am victorious. I was able to make a modded Minecraft server, and no one can take that from me now. I won. I won the battle. Like, I think I'm actually very content about it. So I'm actually really happy with it, and I'm gonna
This will
actually
not last long.
No, it won't. No, it simply won't, because today, dear viewers, I will be crashing out. Usually, unironically, it is. I find that I think 7 times out of 10, I think you do the crashing out, and then I'm usually like there, and I like usually have like, you know, passionate moments, but I think like my crash out episodes are like 1 in 5. Yours are like 1 in 3, 1 in 2. Usually you've got something to bring to the podcast that you're like, you know what?
Well, I've got to hold up to our names.
Yeah, no, I agree. No, I think I actually am very happy you do, because when we have a podcast episode that has no crash out, I do sit there and I go, damn, like, do we even upload this week? Like, what's the point? Like, why do we even record? We have nothing to crash out about. We're crash out queens. We need to lock in. So
I'm happy to announce to your viewers that I do have a personal crash out topic.
We both
that
do.
happens in real life.
Mine happened in real life. Mine was very real to
Yours
me.
happened in real life, but this happened to me 2 days ago.
Mine happened to me yesterday. Conformity gate.
And the day before. And the day before that. And the day before. I was there.
It's been plaguing me.
For the
This
past
is my 9/11. It never ended.
11? 9/11.
At least I can fucking laugh about it now.
Yeah. You were not laughing on New Year's, let me tell you.
No, I was not. Actually, do the viewers know about that? Did we talk about it?
No, because we haven't recorded at all in January.
Yes, we did. We did our favorites. Yes, we did. But I don't think we actually mentioned what happened at New Year's.
No, because we recorded before New Year's. We haven't recorded yet.
Oh, you're so right. Our New Year's favorites was before New Year's, because I uploaded it on New Year's. Did you ever check that podcast?
No, how well is it doing?
So I don't actually know. I haven't checked it.
I'm going.
However, I think I put "fuck you, Duffer Brothers" in the description.
Fucking hell, girl.
Because I uploaded it New Year's Day. Like, I think it was like 3 a.m. I was still wasted. I was still wasted. I was still gone. It is.
I fear I was right about Byler, and honestly, Duffer Brothers, if it's the way you ever see this, that is genuinely one of the worst queer writing done in history. Oh, you didn't say fuck you.
I kind of ate with that, actually. Considering how drunk I was, I kind of ate with that description. I stand by that, actually. I stand by that.
2 views.
I don't care if it's 2 views. It's a great fucking description.
That is a great description.
That's great. I ate.
And then we close the tab. Anyway, dear viewers, you were not there on New Year's. You were not there. I was there when it was written.
The description, question mark?
No, I left before that. I'm talking about the episode.
That's true. Yeah, Brooke has never watched an episode of Stranger Things in her life, and I on New Year's was like, I'm watching the finale. Like, you guys don't have to join. You do have to join. And Brooke, this is what pissed me off.
We started playing Uno. Yep.
No, this is what pissed me off, because at first we didn't play Uno. Brooke was like, prior to it, she's like, I'll be there for you. Like, I'll ride with you.
I'm not there with you.
And you didn't.
No, I'm with Uno.
Which was fucked up, because you told me you would have been there for me, and then you didn't show up.
Yeah, and then we were playing Uno.
Yeah, that was awful of you. And then
you didn't show up when I needed you in Disney trivia.
True. I try. Okay, that's not fair. Now we have to give context to viewers again.
Now we have to give context. So we played Disney trivia with Riley's family and friends.
Yeah, which, if you don't know, I think we've talked about it on the podcast before, but my family's a huge Disney family. We go to Disney like 1 every 2 years. We have a timeshare there. We have, like, I am not kidding you, we have Disney nepotism, not in the sense that we are rich, in the sense that, like, we bought this thing called a timeshare, which, if you don't know what a timeshare is, doesn't really matter all that much. Just means you bought something, an investment, basically, in Disney. My grandparents bought it way, way, way back. The like first year Disney World opened, they bought what's called a timeshare. So now basically every 2 years we can go to Disney World and we can stay at a hotel for basically almost free. Where it's never always fully free, but it's almost free because we pay XYZ amount of money every single year in order to do it. So like we pay like however much money a year, and then they give us what's called points, and then we're allowed to stay in a certain resorts that they say you can stay at for XYZ amount of days, depending on how many points you have, depending on how important or big the fucking resort is, yada, yada, yada. And we go every year. So we're big Disney people. We see like every Disney movie. We love Disney. We're big Disney people. Being said, I hate current day Disney, so don't fucking come for me because I do hate current day Disney. But it holds a special place in my heart, so I will always like have the childhood memories of it. So Disney trivia, we have like 5 different versions of it at my house. And we played one. And me and Brooke got the actual worst questions in the world. The actual most like deep cut questions. What was the question that my parents got that you and I lost our minds at? Do you remember?
Oh, what day does Mary Poppins fucking whatever?
No, that's ours. Do you remember right after our parents got like, what's the color of Mickey Mouse's pants? Like it was something really stupid like that, remember?
Stupid.
Something really dumb, really easy. And we got the what day and time does Mary Poppins shave her pussy in the movie Mary Poppins? And we were like, how the fuck are we going to know that? But then my parents got like, what color pants is Mickey Mouse's pants? And it was like fucking ridiculous, dude. So that's the context of that joke. And yeah, and we're already crashing out because New Year's. And fully, honestly, for those who watched it, when fucking Mike did that whole, not friends, best friends, I jumped into Brooke's arms. Fully jumped into Brooke's arms and screamed. Brooke held me like a baby and I screamed, dude.
We were like Mother Mary holding Jesus.
Yeah, I screamed. I couldn't believe it. I could not fathom it. And
I think Riley
we will get
paused
into
it immediately after and took a walk.
I did. I did.
There were certain moments where Riley actually full on shoved her hand in my face and covered my mouth because I was trying to tell someone that it was their turn in Uno. That's my bad, guys. That's my bad. I'm sorry for continuing the game of Uno.
You know what I felt like? I imagine it feels like. I felt like those religious people who shove their religion down everyone's throat. Like, I feel like that's who I was in that moment.
That's what it felt like. That is what it felt like.
Where I was like, no, you can't speak. The word of God is speaking right now. Like, the Bible's being read.
I yearned to be Kayla on the other couch with her little e-reader.
And her boyfriend.
Okay, he was not on an e-reader, though. How I longed to be Kayla in that moment. Also, fiance.
You're so right. She doesn't watch this. She won't say anything. She's going to text me 2 days from now.
2 days from now.
From 2 days from the podcast being uploaded and be like, excuse you.
And then she's going to call me Grace. She's going to text me and be like, Grace, remember?
Grace told you that I had a fiance? So funny. But, okay, enough of that, because the viewers weren't there. Maybe one day we'll
viewers weren't there. We're giving them a FOMO.
We're giving them FOMO. You should have been there, guys. You just should have, honestly. It was a great New Year's. Yeah. You were. I posted it to
Red Lobster.
I posted it to the YouTube tab, guys. I put my address up.
I put it in the commentary section or whatever it's called.
I put it in the comments of the last podcast, guys. Like, you just should have simply been there.
Guys. Should have been there.
Come on, get with it. But yeah, so it's our New Year's. Anyways, it's obviously post New Year's. The day we're recording this is January 8th, in case you're curious. So we're good into the new year. We're feeling things into the new year. We're
a week into, yeah.
We're seeing how we're going, and we got 3 shout out. Frankly, I think my topic's gonna be the longest, so I'm gonna let you take the stage, babes. I'm gonna let you have the stage, and we'll get into my Stranger Things rant later.
So I will start light with not my crash out topic. Happy 30th anniversary, Persona.
Good job, Persona. You did it, babes.
Happy 30th anniversary, Persona.
We never thought you could.
I thought you could.
I mean, yeah, I obviously could.
Great news for me and Riley. Frieren Season 2 comes out in a week.
So, it's only a week?
It comes out on the 14th, I'm pretty sure.
Oh! I thought it wasn't going to be till, like, fucking August. That's awesome news.
I'm here, and I'm sat, and I'm ready.
Fuck, that means I'm gonna have to buy a Crunchyroll subscription now while I'm laid off. Mind you.
And then I'm like shaking a empty can at you. Please.
Oh, to let you have my Crunchyroll
Yeah.
subscription?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm gonna look because we usually buy it through
Yeah.
Amazon, but if it's cheaper to
You can
just
go through
buy,
Amazon.
but if it's cheaper to just buy the Crunchyroll, I'll give you. If I just end up buying the Crunchyroll subscription as is, like just as Crunchyroll, I'll give it to you then. But if it's through Amazon, it's through my mom's Amazon, you can't have it then. Unfortunately, I fear.
Okay, no, that's fine. I'm not.
But
I'm gonna buy stuff on your Amazon, but
yeah, but if I buy just Crunchyroll because it's cheaper,
Yeah.
then I'll give it to you. I don't
I
care.
don't think it's cheaper, but
It
Anyway.
might be. It depends.
we're very happy.
We are
Frieren
very
season
happy.
2.
That's awesome.
Let's get this
Oh,
bread.
speaking actually of anime,
huh?
have you started Gachiakuta yet?
I have not started it yet. I gotta
Okay.
figure out where to watch it.
So theoretically,
Mhm.
I know you're gonna be mad at me for saying this.
Okay.
I rewatched Gachiakuta. You watch it for the first
Okay.
time. We make it our next anime podcast topic.
We haven't even finished The Great Pretender.
I'm gonna be so real with you, babe. I'm not going to. I lost interest.
I'm really into it.
Then you can finish it, and you can
Okay.
talk about it on the pod. But
Anyway, guys, the arc
I-
was about Cynthia and her ex-fiance who's a painter, and he used to paint her, and it was really good.
I don't know. I honestly do think it's really funny. I think, unironically, because I sent you a TikTok about this the other day, which I don't know if you read it or not, but I do think Gachiakuta has unironically kind of ruined modern anime to me now,
Yeah.
because the representation, the culture, the expression in Gachiakuta, like, I'm gonna be real, like, it's not that I dislike Gachiakuta's plot. It is good and it's fine, but that's like honestly what it is. At the end of the day, it's not like anything spectacular. It's no Full Metal Alchemist. It's no Akame ga Kill. It's not like a crazy like mindfuck anime that like makes you really think deeply about things. But what it does do is fucking represent, which anime has needed so much more than like amazing story for such a long time. It's so good. The music is flawless, like truly genuinely flawless. The character representation is flawless. The designs are flawless. The animation is stunning, fantastic. I would say flawless, but it's better than flawless. I don't know how you overdo that, but you do. I could literally sing my high praises about Gachiakuta because you know what? The plot's not the best thing in the world, but holy shit, does it do literally everything else to pinnacle perfection. Pinnacle perfection. It does. So good. I will die on that hill that it is phenomenal. It is to me what like Inuyasha was back in the day. I love it. I think it does everything right. I think it like takes all these like stereotypes of anime and like flips them on their head and gives you like a way better perspective. And I think it's an anime that just like Inuyasha is gonna inevitably get slept on and not seen as good as it is for our modern day generation. And I do think in long term will end up getting ignored. But I will stand here on this soapbox and I will tell you it needs that representation. It needs to be seen. You bitches, if you like anime, you need to get to Gachiakuta. It's on Crunchyroll. Girl, get into it. Girl, get fucking into it. It's so good.
Give me some time. Damn.
Girl, I'll give you the illegal website I fucking was streaming it on before I got Crunchyroll. Like, because now also the English dub, I think, will be completed within like the next 2-3 weeks. So we can like do 3 episodes per week and I'll be able to do all English. Because I had to watch in Japanese, which like, once again, viewers, if you were not, you're fine with it. But viewers, if you were around during the summer Hikaru died, I said multiple times when we were doing the summer Hikaru watch through, I do not fuck with sub anime. It is nothing to do with anything to do with the Japanese language. I just frankly struggle having to read subtitles while also watching something, especially when it's in a visual medium like anime. I don't like it. I like being able to stare at the visuals and focus on the visuals and really give all of my attention to the visuals. I don't like having to point my eyes up, then down, up, then down, up, then down. It's just my personal preference. Like, that's just how it works. That's why I prefer dubbed, so I can understand what's going on without needing to look at separate directions, and I can focus on what I want to focus on and see things. Until it comes to something that I really love, and the only animes I have watched, and I mean this in the past 10 years, dude, 10 years, The only sub animes I have watched has been The Summer Hikaru Died and Gachiakuta. That's it. Those are the only 2 animes I have watched in sub.
I feel like that's only because there is no dub.
Yes, but usually there's been many animes I've watched though that have had subbed and no dubbed, and I just waited until dub came out. Like I still watch modern day anime, you know what I mean? Like I just wait for the dub episodes to air and then just don't bat an eye at it. But these animes were like so good that I was like, I simply can't wait for a dub to come out. I have to watch these episodes. Because with Gachiakuta, when obviously Summer Hikaru Died, there just was no dub episodes for the first, I think, year it aired, right? I think it was a whole year until we got a dub.
I think it was a whole year, yeah.
But with Gachiakuta, I think it was 3 episodes of the sub would air, and then the dub would air, like, the next episode. So I ended up finishing, like, whatever episode I was on. It was near the end, so I want to say it was, like, maybe 18 out of 23, 24. I don't know what it was. I don't think it was 24. I want to say it was either 21 or 23, because I remember it was a weird number that I was like, that's strange for anime. And what ended up happening was I was on 18, and then I think the sub was up to, like, 20. It was like not finished, but it was closer to finished. It was really close to being finished. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to commit to it. I'm just going to watch the sub. And I stayed up and I watched the sub till like 3 a.m. that night, catching up on the 3 episodes that had aired on the sub and watched it. And then I kept watching the sub week to week because I loved the anime that much. And same with The Summer Hikaru Died. Those are the only anime that I have ever like sat down and been like, you know what? It's not worth the wait to me. I have to see it now. I have to see it as it airs. And so I did. So that's my like recommendation of the year to you people. If you want a good finished series, both those series are finished. I think both of them, by the time this podcast episode comes out, like probably there's like 1, 2, at most 3 episodes of Gachiakuta left before the dub like finishes. The dub for The Summer Hikaru Died is done. You can watch it. Go to town. Go to town. You can watch sub, you can watch dub, you can watch whatever. Both are phenomenal. Both are amazing. Love them. If you want a good queer slow burn romance horror fic, what Stranger Things should have been, go watch The Summer Hikaru Died, babes. Go watch The Summer Hikaru Died. That's the queer slow burn horror sci-fi romance we were all begging for. That's what we wanted. If I could talk to all Stranger Things fans, I would tell them to watch The Summer Hikaru Died.
You get on like a little soapbox.
I'd be like, you bitches would love The Summer Hikaru Died if you gave it a chance. If you guys gave animation a chance, you would love The Summer Hikaru Died. I guess not all Stranger Things fan, because Stranger Things has a general audience that we'll talk about when we talk about Stranger Things, but all the Byler shippers, babes, if you shipped Byler, go watch The Summer Hikaru Died. Go watch The Summer Hikaru Died. If you ship
Byler, hop up onto AO3.
That's true too. I will stand by that.
The episode.
I'll stand by that. I'll stand by that.
Actually, don't.
Oh.
If you're a normal person and you've never fucked with fandom before, get off.
I don't think that's fair, because I don't really. I'm a fandom.
I think I talked about this a few weeks ago. Normal people are starting to get into fandom, and it's kind of fucking up the platforms. Like AO3, it's fucking it up because they want like an algorithm put to it, but the algorithm is how you filter it, I fear.
Okay.
And like they're trying to advocate for stuff to be removed from AO3 as well. It's an archive.
Oh, they're trying to police it.
They're trying to police what you're doing
no,
on
I don't
AO3.
Like that. No, I don't like that.
And that's not okay because
that's not how it works.
It's a platform for the people, by the people.
Yeah, exactly. Communism, power to us, babes.
Yeah, so I fear Archive of Our Own has its namesake, an archive.
Oh gosh.
Try to police it.
Yeah, no, you make a good point. The capitalists come into these things and they ruin everything, don't they?
And they ruin it.
I actually agree with that.
So,
okay, I stand by that. You're right.
Thank you.
Actually, okay, so let me actually reword this. If you're new to fandom, keep an open mind and listen to those who have been here before you. Because that's the biggest thing. Bitch, there are trenches that have been dug before you got in them. You're digging new trenches, which is good. But you're only digging those trenches from the old trenches. And we have to remember that.
You're digging deeper. You're digging into my trench. Hello, hi, hello. I'm in the trench currently.
There was a trench there before you got there. Have some respect. But you know what I will say, though, to be fair? You bitches in the old trenches need to get off the high horse sometimes.
There is no high horse. I'm in my trench.
No, I'm not saying you, but I'm saying you have to admit there are some bitches on a high horse.
There are some people that are on a high horse. I prefer I'm one of those lurkers on the internet.
Me too.
No, you're not.
You can't see my face, but the way that I looked down at my feet and smirked at the floor, I smirked at the floor and I was like, is she gonna call me on this? Is she gonna call me on this? And she did. She did. And she was
comment sections all the time.
I be fighting in comment sections. I be fighting in comment sections. I do be fighting.
And you do be fighting.
Okay, but to be fair, have I picked a wrong fight so far? Be honest, I don't think I have.
I'm sure you have that I haven't seen yet.
No, bitch, I haven't. No,
Damn
I
it.
stand by. I wouldn't pick a fight if, like, no offense. My problem is...
Okay, your problem is that you get too drunk and go on the internet.
That's not even my problem. My problem is people will go online and think they are experts on things like queer culture or on writing or on these things. Because at the end of the day, when I make a comment towards somebody...
I have a feeling I know what this is about.
And guess what? You do. My issue does come down to people not understanding actual historical relevance to things and actual importance. And this isn't to say that, like, because I've gone through education, I am higher than thou, because I actually do think a lot of people who have not gone through the education I have gone through are smarter than me. I do believe that firmly. I think lived experience makes you way smarter than studying any book, right? Like, that's my true opinion on the matter. However, here's where it comes down to. There are people with no lived experience and also no education that come online and decide that they have the end-all be-all opinion of things and that they are morally correct about these things when they are in fact not. And also, my bigger issue is what I just said, the concept of moral correctness. Is really, really, really fucking stupid, especially in nuanced conversation. But for some reason, we force moral nuance, but don't give literal nuance in subjects. And that's where my problem comes in, and that's where I will pipe up. Because you may think you see the things that I see, but there are a lot of videos that I see that I think are dumb that I will not comment on because it comes down to opinion. My issue is when people will present an opinion as fact and say that queerness or feminism or things of other notes are factual and that certain things are a fact and not this or that. And I'm not going to say who or anything. And I'm going to give a throwaway example, but recently I got in a fight on TikTok with somebody.
You did, and I found it naturally.
And you agreed with me, though, is the important note. And basically, I'm not even going to say what the argument is, because I'm going to make a different example here. Because I think my next example is a little bit more, because, like, me and this person on TikTok fighting is kind of say-so, in my opinion. Like, it really doesn't matter all that much, and it was kind of a petty argument. But important argument that I have had before online is the concept in queerness, and I've said it on this podcast before, when it comes to pride, having a space for kink and having a space for kids. Both need to happen at the same time. I don't give a fuck what your morality is or what your opinion is in queerness. There are queer kids, and also queerness would not exist without kink spaces. It does not matter whether you personally agree with kink culture or with kids being gay, but believing that adults can be gay. Both of those opinions can exist. I cannot personally agree with either of them. I think both are necessary, but there are a lot of people in queer spaces that think that, like, kids don't need to be, like, exposed to queerness at a young age because that will, like, quote unquote, like, I don't want to say corrupt because I don't believe that's what they believe. They don't believe it's corruption, but it will influence them. I guess is the better way to put it. It will influence them. I don't believe that to be true, but I do think that those people have a right to that opinion that maybe seeing a queer character will influence a child at a young age. I can see how you can believe that. I will not believe that personally, but I can respect that that's your belief. Another thing, people who think that kink don't have a right at pride. I can see why you think that pride should be for everyone. I agree with that. Pride should be for everyone. But my argument lies that means that we do have to include kink, especially because to exclude kink from Pride means to exclude one of the more vocal and most important people who fought for us during the Pride riots. I think both things can be true at once, though. I think, personally, for example, at Pride, I would never personally attend a kink event. It's not my first go-to. Maybe I would if I was with like a group of my friends, but I would never go out of my way and like say I am a part of the kink community, right? I would also never attend a kids event at Pride because I just don't care about family-friendly Pride. I don't care about drag queens reading story times. The difference is, though, I think drag queens should have a right to do story time, and I do think kink has a right at Pride and has a right to be represented. Both of those two things can be true at once. My issue comes in when these people all fight each other and all think they have the absolute opinion on the matter and say that one is more important than the other, or that one should exist and the other shouldn't. That's where we fall into, like, in my opinion, stupidity, and where we come into the idea of, like, most of the people who, in my opinion, have these conversations are people who are not educated and do not have life experience in either of those subjects. Yet they feel so strongly about them, which is fine. You can feel strongly about a subject, but if you feel strongly about a subject, go out and educate yourself on that subject, and that's what I want to advocate towards. You can do it. You don't have to go to post-secondary like I did. You don't have to do that, but you should put in the work to educate yourself on these topics that you care so much about. If you care about something, educate yourself on it. Go out and do it in your own time if you care about it. And if you don't choose to do it, then I'm sorry, you do not, in my opinion, have the right or necessity to say how you feel on it because you have made the decision not to educate yourself. And if you make a decision, then you don't have the right to say anything. You don't have the right to judge those who have lived experience or who have educated experiences on the matter. And that's when I will comment on things. Once again, I don't want to bring it up because it will probably be really easy if you search up my username to find the comment thread in which, if I mention this comment thread.
Can you search for people through comments?
Not through comments, but I think if you go
Not
on
like
my
through
account, I think you can
Oh my
find.
god, I'm gonna figure this out.
I don't know, but I don't want to just to keep the user separate because I think the user is just a young person who genuinely doesn't have lived queer experience, and I don't know if they're queer. They didn't say it in their bio or anything and didn't really address it. So I don't want to assume nor not assume, but I think they are just someone who is not informed enough, both in real life experience and in educated experience. So I just don't want to risk putting them on blast or saying anything in case, like, it does end up, for whatever reason, this is the clip that people find. I just think that if you don't have lived experience and you don't have educated experience, then take the time to do either or. Take the time to go out there and try those things. And otherwise, if you don't, you can care about it. Don't get me wrong, but do not make your voice louder than those who do have those experiences. Because those who do have those experiences actually will work towards making that change and will work towards actively fighting these things. Whereas to you, if you do not have lived experience and are actively choosing not to educate yourself, I'm sorry, you just don't care enough, and you aren't fighting for the cause then. It's just not your cause because you're actively choosing to not make it your cause, and that's fine. I would like for straight people to fight for queerness, but I will never expect a straight person to fight for queerness because that's not something that they will ever understand in their lifetime. So, but at the end of the day, like I said, if you're passionate about something, go research it, go do it, go be passionate about it, act on your passion. But if you're passionate about something and you're choosing not to act on it, then I'm sorry, shut the fuck up. I don't care. Simply put. And that's where I'll get in fights on TikTok comments.
Good news. I don't think they can find you through comments.
Okay, that's good. I'm still not gonna bring it up, just in case.
Did figure out that I can change your name on TikTok to something that only I can see.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yes. Anyway,
okay.
On to my actual...
Yeah, I was gonna say, what's your crash out topic?
This happened to me a few days ago at work.
Okay. Stop
bringing fake service dogs and emotional support dogs into establishments.
Hard agree. You know that one interview show where they're on a subway and it's like, what's your hot take? This is me
and
with
it's
him,
the
and it's
card. Yeah.
that's your hot take. I'm the guy with the little credit card microphone going,
Listen.
hard agree, hard agree, hard agree,
Listen to me.
hard agree, hard agree.
I'm there, and it's me and my one coworker. I love her to death, and I walk up front, and I'm like, "Hi, how can I help you? What can I get for you?" I look down, and there's suddenly a dog that has rounded the corner of the counter and is sniffing at my leg. And it's a tiny one. It's like a Yorkie poo or like whatever the fuck.
She gonna bite you if you touch
Coda
her.
is. A Yorkie poo won't bite you when they touch you. It's not Coda.
Excuse you.
It's not Coda.
Back up.
Coda is something else.
Nibbles. They love nibbles.
This little dog has a vest on that says service dog. Service dogs don't
wrap
walk
around the
up
corner
to
and
the
go sniffing
cashier
around.
and start sniffing at
Yeah,
me.
that's not a service dog behavior.
That is not
I
a service
fear.
dog, but I can't say anything to you. Even
Well,
though I know that fucking thing's not a
I
service
think
dog.
you're in your right to say, ma'am, can you please get your dog away from the back of the counter?
No, because it was some old lady, and you know how old ladies are, like, super entitled?
Mm-hmm. She
Yeah,
was
I'm not
giving
kidding.
that?
Yeah, it was her and her fucking husband, and they had this stupid dog carrier with them, and I was like, oh my fucking god, y'all better get out of here super quick. No, they ate inside, and they had a little dog bowl on the table.
You can't see my face, but I'm gagged. I'm gagged, I'm gooped. I'm gagged, I'm gooped.
It hurts the reputation of service dogs when you do this.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you're bringing an untrained dog into a restaurant where dogs cannot be. It is a health and safety hazard to bring your dog into a food establishment.
Yeah, 100%.
And you're buying a service dog vest off Amazon and putting it on your little Yorkie poo.
Or they're doing those stupid little online tests to be like, no, look, it is certified, but it's like, no, it's not.
Girl, that dog is not trained. That dog should be standing beside you, not around the. It's on a fucking
exactly.
one of those retractable leashes where it can walk like up to 15 feet away from you.
Abso-fucking-lutely, vibes. We got that for Coda.
Yeah, Coda, I think, needs a regular leash. And not one where he can walk up to 15 feet away from you, but...
Well, we lock it. We don't let him go up to 50 feet.
Well, yeah, but, like, this dog was allowed to go. And I was like, oh, my God. Like, are you serious? Like, I've had actual service dogs in the restaurant, and they look professional. They're super professional, and they're in and out because they know that dogs cannot be in restaurants, but they need the food. Mm-hmm. No, old people need to bring their dogs inside.
Absolutely.
And then it's the old people and then the young people that have a dog and don't have a service dog, and I tell them to get the fuck out.
Oh, I
Stop
hate
bringing your dogs in restaurants.
At least with the old people, it's like, to me, when it comes to the old people, I'm like, okay, well, you probably have schizophrenia, so like you're insane.
No, this was someone's grandma.
I know, but I'm saying like at least with old people, you can be like, oh, you have schizophrenia or dementia, and it's not like to say like they need a service dog, but I'm saying like they're crazy people. You know what I mean? When it's young people though, that's the ultimate piss off to me. That's the ultimate piss off to me.
I'm like, hi, I'm sorry, you can't have your dog in here, and they go, oh, is it okay if we just put him in between the double doors? Because we have a little vestibule where, like, you have the front doors and then you have a little room and then you have the doors into the restaurant. And I'm like, no, it can't be in the restaurant at all. It cannot be in those double doors. It has to be outside in the parking lot. And they go, are you serious? It's cold out there. It's in the negatives out there. And I go, well, maybe you should have thought about that because you cannot.
Girl, and also, it's always a couple. One of you stays in the car, the other one just comes and orders.
One stays in the car and the other one goes outside.
Crazy concept.
And like, I hate it when they bring the dog in and go up to the counter. I'm like, you need to leave. I'm sorry, you need to leave. You cannot have that dog in here. And they're like, it's 2 seconds. And I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah, that's just
you
not
need to
how
get
it
that
works.
dog out of here.
It's just literally not how it works.
It boils my blood when you have a fake service vest on a dog.
I agree. No, I hard agree with that.
You can't ask them for documentation because there's something against it where they don't have to provide you documentation if they don't want to.
That's so dumb. That's so dumb.
I just have to deal with this stupid little dog. It didn't bark, at least.
That's good.
Which is good. But I was like, oh my god. How entitled do you have to be to feel like you have to buy a vest off Amazon and bring your dog with you? Mm-hmm. Girl, leave the dog at home. The dog can be at home.
Yeah, deadass.
The dog can be left at home.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't bring my dog with me everywhere I go.
Well, you do have a Great Dane. That'd be a little bit difficult.
I do have a Great Dane.
Be a little bit harder than a Yorkie. Be a little bit harder than a Yorkie.
I'm gonna buy an emotional.
You can't pick your dog up. They can.
I can pick my dog up.
Girl, it's taller than you.
Oh, she's not. She's only like 4 feet tall.
And you're 3.
Yes. So I'm gonna put one on her,
Little itty bitty
and then I'm gonna go to
bitch.
I'm gonna go out to eat.
Ooh, she did not
You
like
want
that
to
I
know
called her
something?
an itty bitty
Actually,
bitch. She did not like
yeah.
that I called her an itty bitty bitch.
You want to know something? Luna, my dog, is better behaved than that fucking dog that came into the Dairy Queen the other night.
I unironically thought you were about to rip Coda to
No,
shreds for a minute there. I thought you were about to
no.
come for Coda's fucking neck. I was like, oh,
She's also way better behaved than Coda. Let's get that
yeah.
out of here
I think
first of
every
all.
dog's better behaved than Coda.
That's what I'm saying. Why is Coda biting me? I'm just trying to get
For
him
context,
down.
viewers, Coda is my dog. Luna is Brooke's dog.
Coda's
He's a
something.
little
Luna,
Pomeranian. I think Yorkie.
I think he's got a Chihuahua in there.
No, there's no Chihuahua.
How?
I think it's Pomeranian. I think it's Yorkie, and then it's it's not a Shih Tzu. What's the other one called? Maltese. He's a Maltese.
I swear to God, with how yappy he is, there's a Chihuahua in there.
No, that's Pomeranians. Pomeranians are just as yappy as Yorkies.
Damn.
Yeah, Pomeranians are really yappy animals.
Because Luna is a Great Dane Bull Mastiff
Also,
mix.
I don't know if I ever told you this. Did I ever tell you about how Coda is twice the size of, I think it's his mom, and then I think
good boy.
quadruple the size of his dad.
Wow.
He's fucking massive compared to his
What kind of
parents,
dog
dude.
is Molly?
Molly's just a purebred Shih Tzu.
Oh,
Yeah.
little cutie.
Bought her from a purebred breeder ages ago.
Well behaved. I love her.
Molly
so
is
much.
not well behaved. I hate to break it to you. Actually, Molly, in
Whenever
my
I'm
opinion, is
there-
worse behaved than Coda. But
Whenever
no
I'm
one
there-
fucking sees it because she's fucking got Alzheimer's and schizophrenia, so she just looks lost 90% of the time. But she
is,
like
though.
no, she like whines and screams at like fucking middle of the night. She loses her mind. She asks for fucking bullshit.
Luna whines.
She just is. She's got no brain power. She just nothing's going on in that head of hers. And then she
I
gets in
like
your
seeing her
fucking way.
wander.
No, Molly is way worse than Coda,
She
in my opinion.
is not in your way because you can at least step over her. You've never had a Great
No,
Dane in your way.
no, you can step over her. You don't see it. She walks in your way or stands
No.
directly in your way.
Luna, I have an island in my kitchen, and Luna, my big baby, is always standing in there.
The Great Dane.
The Great Dane. She is always standing in there. So you have to be like, Luna, she learned
Okay,
what you're in the way means.
But
She's
here's the difference.
learned.
Here's the difference. Here's the difference. Get this. Get this. The difference is Luna, you can't not see, right? She's
Yeah,
so big.
You know what? You're right. Molly does blend in with the floor.
The difference with Molly is
She does be blending in the floor.
you can't see her. She's
She
so
blends with that
small that you can't see her. And the problem with Molly is she will just stand in the middle of the kitchen
know what
or in the
she's
middle of the
doing.
hallway because no, you're right.
It's a
She's
lot.
old. She's got Alzheimer's. She's got dementia. She doesn't know where she is or who she is. So
lost.
she just stands there, and then you end up booting her halfway down the fucking stairs like a football. And then you go, and then Molly's like looking at you like, how could you do that? And you're like, well, why are you standing in the middle of nowhere? Why are we standing in nowhere?
I love Molly.
Like, girl, I can't save you. You're stupid.
We didn't mean to teach Luna what you're in the way means, but if we go, Luna,
You
you're
did
in the
learn
way,"
it? Oh, that's awesome.
When we go, Luna, you're in the way, she starts backing up and getting out of your way.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Like she knows what move means, she knows what stay means, she knows here, she knows all that.
Yeah.
But Luna, you're in the way, and then she just
A little back step.
her little nails on the tile going. Psh, 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 psh,
Okay.
as she backs up and out of the kitchen. I love her.
So we have your crash out. We have
Fuck the fake service
your
dog.
persona 10 years.
30 years.
Oh, 30. Sorry. 30? Oh my god, I
30
missed
years
that.
for Persona.
Holy
It's
shit.
been a while. Yesterday was the 15th anniversary for Madoka Magica.
Okay. What's next? What's next?
Frieren's releasing next week.
Yeah, we did that. We did that.
And this is my last one.
Okay.
I don't know how you're gonna feel about this. They did finally cast, from what I saw, Rapunzel. and
Rapunzel.
Flynn Rider.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm very 50-50 on it.
I need to look her up actually. I wrote her name down, but
Frankly, like in the nicest way possible, don't care.
oh,
Because to me, it comes down
shade.
to I will never give a fuck about the live actions, personally.
I will never give up.
I haven't cared about the live actions in years.
It was just such a hot topic of debate.
But it
for
always
so
is
long.
my problem. It
always
always is. So I just don't care. I don't feed into it. I don't care. when it happened, I was like, okay, great. Like, I think it's like cool in the sense that I'm happy they hired 2 actors that are kind of like unknown. Like, I've never heard of them, which I always
They were
would
in
prefer.
Titans and the zombie movie, the zombies Disney movie.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know I don't know what that is, so I didn't know anything about them before. So
Yeah.
I like when we hire new actors. I always love new people in the field. I always love it. I think it's fine, whatever. A lot of people seem to have really strong opinions about it, but I just simply don't care personally.
I think they only really had really strong opinions about it because what were they saying about the Tangled movie? They were saying they were gonna cast someone, and everyone was like, "No, no, you need to cast like Sabrina Carpenter."
I saw online people wanted them to cast a girl as Flynn Rider, as if Disney was ever going to do that. I was
Disney's
like,
never
that's
gonna do that.
crazy. Yeah, don't get me
Disney has,
wrong.
like,
I would
5
fully support a
perfect
sapphic Rapunzel, like, Tangled
Oh,
reboot. I would
absolutely.
love that. But I'm sorry, you are, in the nicest way possible, need to go check yourself out for schizophrenia if you ever think that Disney would do that in this current year. Like,
Disney's never
we're
doing that.
gonna talk about it when I get to my crash out topic, but
Mhm.
homophobia is unironically on the rise. Like, I'm sorry to break this to you all, but
Oh yeah.
it's getting really common and it's getting really normalized again. We're getting really okay with saying things like fruity or gay or like whatever you want. Zesty is another one. We're getting really comfortable with using these terms again. So I'm sorry to tell you, but like things like Disney aren't looking out for you. Like
No.
and I don't want to be the bad guy to tell you this, but I do want to be realistic. One of my biggest things was like making content has always been about being genuine and being myself and being as honest as I can be in like I think I'm on like year 5, maybe year 6. Honestly, it could even be year 8 of me making content. I started making content after I graduated high school. So like, and one of the things I've always said is to just be honest and like I'm sorry, that's just not gonna fucking happen. Like, you just need to accept that fact. And it's not that it's, like, it is bad that it won't happen, but we do have to be honest with ourselves. The only people who are making, if we have learned anything from 2025, the only people who are making queer stories is queer people. The only people who are making black stories is black people. The only people who are making POC stories is POC people, and that's it. We cannot expect these assholes, if you will, these white Hollywood executives, these straight Hollywood executives, these, as Elon Musk calls it a slur, but cis Hollywood executives, to be looking out for us. They're not. They're not going to represent us.
Banned on Twitter for that.
I did. I've gotten banned on Twitter 3 times for saying cis.
We need to talk about the latest one.
And then I got banned on Twitter recently, which I don't have in my
We'll
notes, so
talk about
Brooke,
it in a minute.
remind me. But when we get to my
we'll
thing,
talk about it in a minute.
I'll finish my point. Just like,
Yeah.
in the nicest way possible, if I've learned anything this year, stop looking at these people. Honestly, they don't deserve your time. They don't deserve your view. They don't deserve your expectations. Look for queer authors. Look for queer creators. I've said it before, and it's like literally right up there, viewers. Heartstopper is a great example. A queer woman wrote Heartstopper, and it's a great queer love story. Is it cringe, and is it kind of like unrealistic? 100%. But is it nice to just like have a gay romance story that's just about being gay and in love and not about like some weird self-acceptance arc about how the boy you're in love with will never love you and so on and so forth? Like, I'll take cringe 100 days out of the week if it's at least like treats me like a fucking person and not like Frankenstein. Because at the end of the day, here's the thing, kids, we aren't Frankenstein. So stop settling for Frankenstein. Which, are you done with your topics? Because that'll lead me into.
Yes, you get into your.
Let's talk about Stranger
the
Things.
Let's
Because
talk about Stranger Things.
one of the things I want to say with Stranger Things is going into this, it's a letdown, it's a disappointment, and it's awful. And that is truly, if you want the TLDR, after this, we're about to talk about Stranger Things for probably 40 minutes. You got 40 minutes that you can skip past. My true all-around thoughts, terrible, awful. I am not the monster that you have created. I am not self-acceptance. I am not this weird what you want me to be straight men who think that queer people need to fit into this narrative or box. That's just simply not what I fucking am. And I'm not going to settle for being that. So we're going to talk about Stranger Things. And we're going to talk about Stranger Things not just because this is what pisses me off the most is people think people like me who shipped Byler, only care about Stranger Things from a Byler perspective. Byler was very important to me, don't get me wrong. It was the most important thing to me. But what pisses me off even more about Stranger Things is we lost Byler and everything fucking else, too. We lost everything fucking else with Stranger Things. And because, honestly, if Byler did happen, 90% of the problems with Stranger Things would have been solved. But you people, you general audience people who are mad at Byler shippers, are too homophobic to accept the fact that if Byler did happen, a lot of the plot holes in the series would actually have an answer and would actually not be an issue if it did happen. But we'll get more into that later. We're going to talk about some things. I guess I should kind of start with Byler. Don't get me wrong. I am disappointed Byler didn't happen. It is really sad.
I think you're underselling it.
I think I am underselling it as well, but I think it's because I've genuinely had time and I'm like moving on from it in a nice way. But I do want to say, because I think my issue right now, especially with Byler and stuff, is this concept of moving on from it and what I'm going through. Is I'm feeling a lot of emotions that were similar to when I watched Heartstopper for the first time. In the sense that it's just very emotional to have seen myself in a way I'd never seen myself before. But I think Byler's a little bit... I don't want to say more upsetting because Heartstopper is really funny because if you don't know, I think I've talked about it on the podcast before, but Heartstopper was really... It wasn't upsetting to me, but it really sent me through a downward spiral because it was the first time I had ever seen my story been told on TV in my life. Prior to Heartstopper, my story had never been told, at least not in like an accurate or like nice way, I guess is the best way to put it. It's always been about tragedy with queerness. And Heartstopper, its whole kind of message is that like queerness doesn't need to be tragic. And then my issue with Byler is it does come down to the writers, and this will be my first point, did queerbait us. And that's a fact of the matter. And that's an important point to me because there's a lot of discourse online for some reason about if Byler is quote-unquote queerbait or not. Because for some reason, people think that you can't get queerbaited if one of the characters in the ship is canonically queer, because that's not queerbait, that's canon. But that's not what happened. And if you did not see Byler, I am so sorry to tell you this. You are a part of the literacy problem in America and in the Western world and in the world in general. You are a part of the problem. Because if you take 5 minutes of your time to look up any Byler video and just sit through the amount of evidence, and I think, Brooke, you never watched it, but I think as someone who has seen through me, the Byler evidence I have sent you.
It's a lot. 17 messages today alone from Ryan.
They did, even if they never intended Byler to happen, they purposefully wanted people to think there was a possibility, and that is the definition of queerbait. The definition of queerbait is making people believe that it will happen just for it not to. Because what they wanted from us was the views and was the money. And they did get that from us, which is the worst part about this to me, is they did win. Unfortunately, the Duffer Brothers won. Netflix won. They got our views. They got our subscription. They got their money out of us. That $400 million 100% got paid back in full because they used us. And I think the worst part is they used us like Hollywood always does. Because we've always been used. We are always used for a story beat. We are never given the respect we deserve, and we are never treated as equal to our heterosexual others. We are always the lackluster. We are always the unrequited, the unwanted, those who have to grow. We are expected to be bigger. We are expected to be better. But our straight counterparts always get what they want with half of the fight that we have to have. Because it's realistic. Because queer love has to be fought for. It can't just be queer love. And that's my, I think, biggest problem with Byler and with a lot of the things that came down to it is they did give us the evidence and give us the know-how and give us the reason that it could happen and that, honestly, it would make sense if it happened. And that by the end of the series, maybe, and honestly, you can disagree. Maybe you think that Byler would not have been a good ending for the series. That's fine. But it would have made more sense than what we got if it did happen. Because what we did end up getting was a whole lot of fucking nothing. So it comes down to, would you have rathered to see two men in love that made sense or absolutely nothing for the story's ending? Because we're going to get into it. Byler isn't my only issue with Stranger Things, but I do want to address Byler because obviously we've talked about Byler many podcasts in a row now, so it feels really important. And it's not my last one on Byler, but I do have a lot of other things I want to talk about. But to say in the same note of Byler, one of the biggest things that I have a problem with Stranger Things is what is dubbed the Purple Rain scene between Jane Hopper, aka 11, and Mike Wheeler, where Jane, spoilers, it's been out for like a week, so sorry, but I am going to spoil it. Mike and Jane have a final moment with each other, and the backing track for it is Purple Rain. And it is a massive fuck you to all queer people because Mike is obviously assumed to be a closeted queer person. And once again, it does come down to, you know what? Maybe Mike and Jane could have been in love, and that's fine. I've said this to Brooke before, and I think I've said it on the podcast before. I did not dislike Mike and Jane together. I think actually, if you would have kept the same chemistry with Mike and Jane that you had in season 1 and 2, I would have been fine with them ending up together. That would have been fine to me. But it was the fact that you chose to separate them, make it so Mike can't say I love you to Jane ever in his life, except for when Noah Schnapp's character Will is like, you have to say it, you have to, like, eggs him on and forces Mike to say it, basically. That's the only time Mike can ever say it to Jane. And this doesn't even have anything to do with Byler, personally. But the character Jane deserves better. Just fully and honestly. The character of Jane Hopper is one of the worst written characters in hindsight ever. Because she is a character that is defined by being a victim. She is a character that knew what it meant to be abused before she knew what it meant to be loved. She is a character that understood what it meant to be disappointed before what it meant to be accepted. She's a character that even by those who love her, for example, Mike Wheeler, her boyfriend, she was a superhero before she was a girl and before she was a person. She was an idea. She was a concept. She was not representative of Jane Hopper, the individual, which leads into why, like, I'm calling her Jane Hopper and not 11, her common name. Because it's almost, like, worse to me that the Duffer Brothers decided to, like, make everyone except for, like, Hopper call her 11. Because it just further is such a fuck you to victims and to the character of Jane. Because Jane isn't a number. And Jane isn't this, like, character with superpowers. She's a person. She's a teenage girl that deserves to have a teenage girl experience. And the fact that we boiled that character down to just, like, being 11 the superhero is really a disservice to the character. And her ending being with Mike, to not only, like, being with Mike in the sense that Mike and her had this whole moment where she's like, Mike, you're the only person who understood me. When she had a father figure who literally died for her at one point in the series, who gave everything up for her, who did everything he could for her. Then she had a mother figure who adopted her and took her in and did so much for her. And then had a brother who was the only character who went through what she went through, who went to the Upside Down, who got tortured, who got manipulated, who got abused. To say that Mike, a character who just frankly did not go through enough and just did not understand her, did not know what she went through, to say that he is the character that understands her the most, when there are 3 other characters who understood her so much more than him, and give her final scene of like speaking to another character to him is so stupid. And bitch, before you get up in the comments, because I know someone's going to be like, well, actually, it's technically not her and Mike having a conversation because Mike imagined it and yada, yada, yada. I don't fucking care. They chose actively to make us have our last scene with Jane and another character be with Mike and Jane. A character who fundamentally never understood her. From the day they met to the day she died, never understood her. And I don't give a fuck if you believe if Jane is dead or not. Whatever you want to fucking believe, go on. Either way, I'm gonna be real with you. It doesn't matter if Jane's dead or not because the ending is the same. She is still alone and she is still punished for being a victim of her own abuser. No matter what, if she died or if she went to fucking Ireland and lived her best life or whatever, she still has to leave the people she loves in order to like allow them to move on. Because Jane's victimhood wasn't ever about Jane. It was about everyone else around her, which is not what the story of victim should ever be. It never should be that. So I don't give a fuck what you believe about Jane. All of it was wrong, and all of it was mishandled, and Jane the character, Jane Hopper, the woman, deserved better than what 11 got. Then we have to talk about other ships, Jancy. I was never a Jancy believer. I am still not a Jancy believer. I don't care for Jonathan and Nancy getting together. However, when you write a scene that is supposed to be a breakup scene, and then you have to later clarify in an interview that it's a breakup scene because it was so poorly written as a breakup scene, I fear you fucked up as writers, and I fear you just have to admit, hey, I'm bad at writing. And that's really all I have to say about that. Then there's Vicky. Because at the end of the day, they said, you know what? Will Byers doesn't get the love of his life, but it's okay because your other queer character does. No, she doesn't. No, she doesn't. Because you admitted in an interview that Vicky and Robin are probably broken up. They probably don't have their happily ever after. Even though most of Robin's story in the final season was boiled down to being a parallel to Will, because if we're going to force the storyline, Mike is Will's Tammy, which means that Robin's love of her life is Vicky, and they end up together, which means that Will needs to move on from Mike to find his Vicky. But then you break up Robin and Vicky. So then, theoretically, what does Will have to look towards? Nothing, realistically, because you broke up the one queer couple. Stupid. Just genuinely stupid. Then we're going to backtrack. I want to talk about Eddie Munson and the concept of where I think Stranger Things really, really, really lost it all. And I think it has entirely to do with Eddie Munson's character. I think Eddie Munson's character going as mainstream as it did ruined the entire show. Because I do think seasons 1, 2, and 3, even 3 was kind of iffy, but I still think that season 3 was for the freaks and outcasts. I do believe that. I believe that they wrote it for a niche audience, and it did get, captured by mainstream. I'm not delusional. I do still think seasons 1, 2, and 3 were still pretty mainstream, but I think they still were true to the idea of freaks and outcasts in those seasons. Queer people, black people, people of color, the weirdos, the freaks, those who just didn't fit in life. I think it was for those people, unironically, even if the writing went to shit in season 3. But season 4, Eddie Munson, I think is where we lost the plot entirely, because I think Eddie went mainstream. They made so much money from Eddie Munson that they decided that they would completely pivot and they would completely change the script and make basically everything palatable. I actually want to see if I can find it, because I sent this paragraph to Grace, me and Brooke's mutual friend, on TikTok. We love Grace, and I sent her this whole paragraph.
Not on TikTok. We met her in college.
No, but I'm saying I sent her a message on TikTok. And I said this. I said, girl, it's all because of the success of season 4 and Eddie. I said they completely threw away the concept of good writing for fan service the moment Eddie's death became viral. And he became such a goddamn cash cow. I said they threw away all of the good writing that was left in order to make the series more palatable and marketable to the general audience because they all loved Eddie Munson. Because he was an attractive man who embodied the concept that everyone believes is quote-unquote misunderstood or weird. But in reality, he was just what people wanted to project themselves to be. Everyone wants to be the outcast and the weirdo until they actually have to deal with the repercussions of that lifestyle. Until they are the Will, until they are the Mike, until they are the Dustin, until they are the Lucas. Eddie is an attractive man who represented the good parts of being weird while making those who have never actually suffered from the repercussions of being weird make them feel validated. Because frankly, I think if you liked Eddie Munson, you were never actually an outcast and you were never actually weird. You want to feel like you were, and that's fine. Everyone wants to feel like they are the hero of their story, right? I think that's what it all comes down to. Everyone wants to feel like they were mistreated, misunderstood at some point in their lives. And that's why Eddie became so viral and so famous. But I think that's the most disappointing part, is that the Duffer Brothers, rather than sticking to their guns of weirdness, they completely leaned into conformity, which is my next topic, and the idea that, like, making normal people feel weird. Because, yeah, I'm sorry to tell you, if you were just a normal girl who dated the fucking football player in high school, Stranger Things wasn't for you. Now it is, which good, I guess. You win. But you get to win your entire fucking life. When my life has been about losing. When people who liked Stranger Things prior to these past 2 seasons, whole lives were about never being an option. We never got our football player. We never got the love of our lives. We never got the high school to college to love to la da 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 that you got to. We never even got our college party girl era like a lot of you people get to have. For a lot of us, the weirdness and the outcastness stays with us for our entire lives, and we don't get to just walk away from it. But you get to choose and pick and choose when it fits your narrative and when you feel like you're the outcast. But that's not what it was all about originally, and it annoys me that we moved away from it. Moving into conformity gate. Speaking of conformity.
Before we move into something happened before Conformity Gate that we need to talk about.
What do you want to talk about before conformity gate?
Why you got banned on Twitter.
Oh, simple. I told the Duffer Brothers to end themselves on Twitter, and then I got banned. There you go.
I was there. I wanted to be. So the episode ends. Episode ends. And Riley gets up on Twitter.
Immediately.
And types, "Hey, at Duffer Brothers. Oh, something KYS.
I think I said, like, you're the worst people ever, and then like, you're the
KYS.
worst people ever, and then, yeah, KYS.
Yeah. And so
Indeed.
I'm like,
I did.
oh my god, I want to be the first like on this tweet. Let me go
Yeah.
find it.
And then Brooke tells me, because I turned my
And
phone
I'm-
off.
Yeah, and I'm refreshing Riley's, like,
Twitter.
account. I'm like, hey, it's not here. Hey, where is it? Did you hit post? And Riley
did.
opens up the phone, and Twitter has a pop-up open that says, hey,
You've been
you
banned.
can't interact with anything for the next 12 hours.
Yeah, best part about being banned on Twitter, you can still see things. You just can't like,
can see things.
repost, or comment. But you can still see.
Yeah.
So I got to see all the Byler stuff. Don't you worry, babes. I was there. I was still on the streets with you.
I just couldn't drop any likes, guys.
I kind of want to talk about conformity quickly, because, like, technically it's still going on, but also no, it's not.
I feel like it's over. Come on,
Conformity
guys.
gate is just really disappointing to me because I unironically don't believe in conformity gate, but I really do get where people who do are coming from because, yeah, we want more. God forbid. We want more. Another thing I kind of want to talk about while we're talking about conformity gate is there's a viral TikTok / tweet going around where there's a girl crying about that Will and Mike didn't end up together, and everyone's being really mean to that girl. And I'm sorry, but fuck all of you. You're wrong, and she's right. Because, yeah, it hurts to be fucking queerbaited. And sure, maybe her reaction is dramatic for fictional characters. Don't get me wrong. But also, how many times do we have to get queerbaited before we say enough is enough? Before finally we aren't baited by these people, before finally we aren't a view or a click and we're seen as real, before finally we're seen as equal to straight love, because at the end of the day, that's what it comes down to. These people don't see us as equal to their own sexuality and gender. They see us as this token that they can throw away or trivialize for their own views and ideas and storytelling. We are a narrative tool to them, not something that is meant to be seen with compassion and love. And I'm sorry, yes, she was overdramatic, but she's a right to be emotional about that. I was too. I'll be the first to admit. I cried for 2 hours straight on New Year's fucking Day. From 3 a.m. to 5 a.m. I cried. I sent Brooke hundreds of messages about how distraught I was. I sent my friend Ninja's messages about how distraught I was. I sent Livy messages about how distraught I was. Because it does matter. It means that much. It might sound stupid to you. Because I get it. We live in the real world. Whatever. You know, gay people can get married, so on and so forth. But I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news to you. It does matter to be represented, because whether you want to acknowledge it or not, media does shape your opinions. Sometimes it's subtle and sometimes it's direct, but media does shape how you feel about things, especially at a young age, which Stranger Things was marketed towards originally. Teenagers is what Stranger Things was marketed towards originally. Granted, now, I think they've tried to market towards, like, young adults, but that's still important. Those are people who can be influenced. And I think, I've said this before on the podcast, but Maya Hawke said it really beautifully, where it's like, it's good to have characters who are queer come out in shows that are not, quote-unquote, gay shows. Right? That's an important thing to have, because that means your Uncle Larry, who's homophobic and hates gay people, has to face the reality that they exist. If we keep writing mainstream shows and not having gay people, black people, other people of color, other stories that need to be told, indigenous individuals, things like that, if we don't talk about those stories, then those people who are stuck in those beliefs will never have to face that reality. But if you put those narratives in shows that are good, in shows that are loved, those people either have to accept that the show that they loved is not something they can watch anymore, or they have to accept that these storylines are important and valuable to our society, which they fucking are. So no, I'm sorry, I don't agree. That girl did not deserve the hate bandwagon that she got. She was right for being emotional about it. She just said how I felt internally. I agree with her. And I feel bad for those who believed in conformity gate, because I never did. But Netflix did lean into it. Stranger Things did lean into it. They all leaned into it. And once again, they took advantage of us for views and for clickbait. And I will say, though, at least one good thing came out of conformity gate, which was Netflix, for the first time in I don't know how many years. It's been ages since Netflix crashed. But Netflix fully crashed because of how many people believed conformity gate was going to happen. So many people logged on to Netflix at 8 o'clock on January 7th, so convinced like conformity gate was going to happen, so upset with how the show ended, that it crashed Netflix, a service that is literally dedicated to just having millions to billions of people on it at once. But so many people logged onto it at once, it crashed. I mean this when I say this, Stepper Brothers, this is a sign. Never pick up that pen and paper again. I wouldn't. I just simply wouldn't. If that many people hated my ending, I just simply would never touch pen to paper again. It proves you did a shitty job. You were a bad writer. And at the end of the day, I'll say this, because conformity gate is still a theory that's going on. People are saying it's going to happen the 11th or 12th or 9th of January. It's the 8th of January as we're recording this. I'll say this. I don't give a fuck if it happens, Stepper Brothers. Because at the end of the day, if conformity gate does happen, and once again, the thing that I don't believe it will, but if it does happen, that means that you value being awarded this fictional award of, like, quote unquote masterful writing, rather than just giving good storytelling in the first place, which to me is the death of an author. If you care more about the concept of getting your viewers or tricking your viewers or, like, baiting your viewers into some weird belief or weird thing or making them, like, having a gotcha moment on your viewers rather than just writing a good fucking story in the first place. Fuck you, stop writing. The point of writing is to write a good fucking story, to write a story you believe in, to write a story that you love and have passion for. And frankly, what you did write, I don't believe you have love or passion for. I don't believe there was an ounce of love or passion in that. I believe there was money, and that's all I fucking believe. That's all I believe. And if you have this final gotcha that you will post, just like the New Year's Day podcast I posted, I still say fuck you. Because that still means at the end of the day, all you want is this gold medal for being so good, rather than just writing a good story. And that should have been your fucking priority. And that's my take on Comfort Gate. Do you have anything to say about Comfort Gate before I move on to my next point about all this?
Comfort Gate, guys,
Psychosis.
It's the fact that people are thinking that Conformity Gate is real. Like, I won't hate on you for it, but you're giving the Duffer Brothers
too much
credit. They suck at writing, and you thinking that there's some better ending in store, and they're just waiting to release it, is stupid, because they're not good writers. They got rid of the good writer by getting a divorce. She's gone.
Actually, speaking of which, I do want to talk about, I found out recently, there's another person who I think I sent to you. I'm going to try and find it quickly.
I think you did. I think you sent it to me.
There is another director/writer named Lee Janika, I think is how you pronounce it. I do not know. But that was the writer who came up with Jane Hopper's story and Vecna's story and all of that story. Like, the Duffer Brothers admitted that. They said that she's the best writer they've ever had. And for some reason, they decided to move her to the Broadway play, which they said was canon to Stranger Things 5. In case you're wondering, it wasn't. It didn't matter. It wasn't canon. Anything that was canon, they retconned, and it did not matter. So, for some reason, they chose to move her to the Broadway play to write on the Broadway play instead of their final fucking season, which is crazy to me. You take your best writer and move them to not the final season. You take them off on the final season of your show is crazy. And I do think it has to do with ego, and I think the biggest problem with the Duffer Brothers is ego. You care too much.
Such a big ego about seasons 1 to whatever the season 5 was so garbage because they thought we can do this by ourselves.
Yeah. Exactly. I think it's ego. It all came down to ego. You think that you have a god complex, and you think that you've written the best thing since fucking sliced bread. And I think it came down to ego, where they're just like, all these other writers, we don't need them. But now we find out that you did need those other writers, and that those other writers were the people who wrote your fucking show, and that without them, it was awful. It was truly and genuinely awful. Just not good. I want to talk about behind-the-scenes stuff now for a little bit. We are going to get into other things. We're going to get back into the story, but I just, off rip kind of wrote down my points. One of the things I really want to talk about is the Duffer Brothers' treatment towards female characters and queer characters. Just on all sides of things, they don't care about writing good female characters, and they don't care about writing good gay characters. And that's just a fact. And that's been a fact since basically season 1. A great example is, for example, I love Joyce as a character because she is a flawed character. However, one of the issues that comes in season 5 is Joyce is painted as this, amazing mother figure. But one of the reasons why I loved Joyce in the first place is because Joyce is a bad mom. And that's something we're forgetting about. Joyce left her 2 children alone at home by themselves. And that's why Will gets captured in the first season. Because Jonathan ends up having to take an extra shift because they're low on money. And this isn't to judge low-income houses. That's not what I'm saying at all. But it is to say that Joyce is meant to be not the best mom in the world. She's meant to be a bad mom. She's meant to be flawed. But then in season 5, she's, kind of rewritten to be this, perfect mom. But still, she ends up ignoring Jonathan or treating Jonathan as, a lesser child than Will. And Will is objectively her favorite child and her favorite person in the world. And it's not to say that's not realistic. Obviously, I think most people, if they had a kidnapped child who came back to them, would have favoritism for that child and feel really devoted and special and protective over that child. But one of the things about Joyce is her flawedness, and this season really felt like they just wanted to act like Joyce wasn't flawed, and that's just not true. She is. And then Nancy is another good example of Nancy was once again a character that was good because of her flaws. I, for example, did not like Nancy in the first few seasons because she was a pick-me girl. She wanted the male character's attention. She wanted Steve's attention. She wanted Jonathan's attention. And then she redeems herself eventually by like realizing she should have been a better friend to her friends, and she shouldn't have been so focused on boys, and she shouldn't have been so dedicated to this like non-existent social hierarchy. But then instead of like giving Nancy more character moments in our later seasons, they just make her essentially female Rambo and remove entirely like all of her flaws and just make Nancy like badass Nancy. Not well written. Then we have Karen Wheeler, who was one of my favorite characters of this season, but at the end of the day, Karen Wheeler's character is boiled down to just being a mom, and that's it. That's all her character is. That's all her character ever will be. There are no female characters that get really any good plot line. Max was a great character. She really, in season 2 and 3, defeated the concept of gender norms and was very self-reliant on herself and did not rely on anyone else but herself. And then in season 4 and 5, was entirely reliant on Lucas, was entirely reliant on, well, not season 4, but like season 5 was entirely reliant on Lucas. Her whole character boiled down to like, she didn't need the music tape, she needed her boyfriend who she was in love with, which is just not true to Max's character. That's not who Max was. Max never needed her boyfriend. But in season 5, we rewrite Max that she needs the love of her life, which isn't a bad story if you had any other individual female characters, but you don't. You have defined all of these female characters by their relationships to men or motherhood, and that's it. And then we have our other female character, 11/Jane, who, although technically is badass, is still defined by just being a victim. And her sole purpose in the story is being basically a non-developed superhero. And that's it, which the whole point of season 4 was to move away from that concept and to give 11 story beats that was more than that. There was a whole arc about how all 11/Jane ever wanted was to know what it meant to be loved, to be a person, to be an individual. She had a whole arc about what it meant to grieve over her dead father. She had a whole thing about how Mike wouldn't say I love you to her, even though she deserved an I love you. And then in this season, that's all thrown away. And she's just now this like super soldier that we just like have to accept. And she doesn't really have a personality outside of that. So, you know, go on. We don't get real characters out of these female characters. We get reliance on men, or we get just flat nothing from them. Nancy's whole fucking storyline, this story was just like, admittedly, at least she was non-reliant on men. At least she was her own character, but she was almost given up to be just a sacrificial lamb. Almost every scene that Nancy's in that has conflict in it, it's her risking her life to the point of like, you're almost like, okay, Nancy's trying to kill herself because she wants to like save the day and be a hero, which is fine, but it's not really an in-depth character, and it's not really character growth for Nancy entirely. It's her being stagnant, because Nancy's been that way now since season 1. Because that was kind of the point of season 1 Nancy, is she went from being a character who focused on men to then being like, no, I want to avenge my friend who I loved. Fuck the Demogorgons. Fuck the Abyss. Fuck the Upside Down. Like, let's fucking end this. And then from season 1 onward, that's what she has literally been, and that's it. And if it's not that, it's about her relationship with Jonathan. And that's all Nancy is. She's not a developed character. Whereas Steve gets so much development throughout the series. Dustin gets so much character dynamic throughout the series. Lucas gets to change throughout the series. We get so many male counterparts who get to change and grow, but all of our female characters, if they do change, end up going backwards after the fact and end up playing themselves backwards. And it's just not fucking good. It's not a fun time, and I'm not a fan of the treatment of women in Stranger Things. And then we move on to queer characters and how queer characters were treated as just conventional story beats. We are always about self-acceptance, kiddies. One of the greatest thing to me every single character of the child cast, Max, Lucas, Jane, Mike, Dustin, gets a love interest in the series. Do you know who doesn't get a love interest out of all those people? The gay guy, the queer character. Doesn't get a love interest once. What he does get is an unrequited love story with his best friend, even though he moved all the way to California and you could have literally given him a boyfriend during that season at any point and made that a storyline. But no, you chose to make his storyline about falling in love with his best friend, who he hasn't talked to for over a year, by the way. But he had a whole season dedicated to being in love with Mike, even though he hadn't talked to him in a year when we meet him in season 4. That's what's important about gayness. It's about self-acceptance. Straight people don't need to accept themselves or find themselves, but gay people do before they can get into a relationship. That's what we learn. Then we have Robin and Vicky, quote unquote. I'm not going to get too much into this, but once again, it's stupid. Robin, quote unquote, found the love of her life in Vicky, but they still end up broken up. So what's even the point of that storyline? Really? What is it? Nothing. Pointless storyline. Then we have one of my biggest issues, the murder of Mike Wheeler. And this is going to go into Byler again, but I need you, viewers, to really tell me what Mike has done throughout Stranger Things. It's nothing. Mike has not done anything other than force Jane and Will to grow past him. And that's it. And that's not character growth, and that's not a good character. Do you know what genuinely would have made Mike as a character amazing? Not just like writing-wise, but also representation-wise. If he was a closeted bisexual or gay man, it would have been perfect. And it would not have taken that much time out of the series either. You could have done it at any point. You could have done it in the epilogue and made Mike be like, you know, Will, I love you, da-da-da-da. You could have done it at any point. You could have chosen to done that. But you chose not to. So that means, objectively, from the writer's perspective, the character of Mike Wheeler is, I can't say I love you to my girlfriend, even though she is supposed to be the love of my life, and the viewers are supposed to believe she's the love of my life. I still can never say I love you to her, unless I'm being egged on by my gay friend who has lied to my face about my girlfriend's feelings, painting his own feelings as hers to then motivate me to say I love you. But then after that fact, I still can't say I love you to her. Never have a romantic scene with her in the final season until she is on her deathbed. And then even when she is on her deathbed, I still can't say the words I love you to her. And then the better part is, I'm an absolute piece of shit to my best friend. I do not support him. I do not care for him. I never fucking talk to him unless the story demands me to. Mike Wheeler is objectively, from the way the writers wrote him, just an asshole. And that's it. If he is not closeted bisexual or homosexual. He is just objectively an asshole. An asshole. And that is the biggest murder of a character of all time. Because if we know anything about Mike Wheeler from seasons 1, 2, and 3, he is anything but an asshole. Mike Wheeler, which is the worst part about this, is the heart and is so compassionate and caring as a character. Season 1 Mike saw Will's body and bawled his eyes out to his mother and refused to believe it was Will's body. Season 2 Mike was the only character that Will would talk to about his nightmares about Vecna and the Mind Flare. Season 3 Mike always looked out for Eleven, always looked out for Will, always looked out for them, always was the first character to reach to them. And then part 1 of season 5 is even worse because firstly we get no scenes with Mike and Eleven, like at all. But then also every time Will has like a Vecna moment, Will is the first to go to him, to hug him, to care for him. Mike is meant to be this compassionate character, but by the end of your series, you make Mike look like he is an uncaring, uncompassionate asshole who doesn't give a fuck about either of these characters that you have shown us he cares unconditionally about. Whether it's romantic or platonic, about both of them, Byler or Maleven, whatever your fucking camp is, he doesn't care at the end. He doesn't. At the end of the series, what you are seeing is him not fucking care about these characters that we have seen him care about in every other season. That's the murder of a character, and that's terrible fucking writing. We already talked about that, so I'm gonna skip past that point. I do have a little side point. Fuck you, Duffer Brothers. That's just there for fun. I have the quote that the Duffer Brothers said. That is, we're not gonna do what Game of Thrones did. And I would argue you're right. You did worse. Because at least Game of Thrones killed everybody. Instead, you gave us unsatisfying endings for literally every character except for maybe Dustin. And that's the only character who arguably isn't unsatisfying. I would still argue it's unsatisfying because we don't know what happens between Dustin and Susie, and that was an important plot beat that we just dropped and didn't talk about. But, you know, at least Dustin got to go live the life he wanted to, maybe. Other than that, though, we don't get a satisfying story ending for any character. Mike ends up alone and sad. Will doesn't get an ending. He gets quote-unquote an epilogue boyfriend, but that's all in Mike's imagination. We don't know about that. Lucas and Max do end up together, so actually, no, that's satisfying. I do like that Lucas and Max end together. I will always be a Lou Max till the end that I die. That couple has always been my fucking baby. I love those two. But that's it. That's all we get. I guess we get Joyce and Hopper, and that's nice, but frankly, we always knew that was going to happen. But then even in the end, like, all the things you ended on, you still, like, wouldn't give a solid answer on. You had the audacity to be like, Nancy and Jonathan will end up together off screen later on in the series, even though you broke them up. So what's the point in breaking them up if in an interview 2 days after the finale you're just gonna be like, no, but they'll get back together eventually because they will always love each other. Then what is even the point in breaking them up? Because realistically, the breakup just didn't matter. It didn't have any plot relevance. Brooke, great example. Did it matter that Jonathan and Nancy were broken up in the finale to you?
I didn't even know.
Exactly. It just wasn't important.
TBH.
It just wasn't important. So fuck off.
Guys, the entire conformity gate happened off screen.
Dead ass. The 9th episode did happen. It's just off screen, guys.
It's just off screen.
Then I have the erasure of Will Byers, which just has to do with like the erasure of queerness, which they wanted to talk about. So one of the things that's come out recently is during the epilogue where Will has a boyfriend in the epilogue, or more so doesn't even have a boyfriend, by the way. It's like he meets a guy at a bar. The erasure of just Will's character is gross. He smokes and drinks in the epilogue. Both two things Will Byers canonically has problems with and doesn't agree with because his mother was an alcoholic and his father was a smoker and his father abused him. We have him being CGI'd out that he had an earring and a more gay haircut, but apparently that was too gay to make it into the final cut. And then finally, we have the Duffer Brothers. We have a confirmed recording of them on set telling this actor, Noah Schnapp, that he was doing too much in the scene with the epilogue boyfriend. That he was being too flamboyant and too much. When he was supposed to be a gay man in a bar in the 90s. But he was being too much. And that's just gross. And then to turn Will's love into a crush is such a massive erasure. If you cannot fucking tell, I've talked about it on the podcast before, but at one point in my life, I was Will Byers. And sorry to be the bearer of bad fucking news, it's not just a crush. It's not just a Tammy. It's a person you have known for half of your life, if not more. That you have spent half of your life begging to have a chance with. Hoping that maybe they'll look at you once in the way that you look at them. It's not a crush. It's not something that you can just blow past. It's love that you felt. You were in love. And to turn queer love into just a silly hallway crush is a massive fucking erasure. And stupid. And stupid. I can skip past that. I don't care about that. I'll talk about it in my video. Everything happened off screen. Yeah. And then finally, my biggest issue is making the choice to weaponize Noah Schnapp's queerness towards critique. The Duffer Brothers have gone on record and been like, well, Noah Schnapp was okay with it, so you guys can't be mad at it. But we also have conflicting reports about that, because Noah Schnapp has gone on record and said that he didn't agree with some of the things the Duffer Brothers did, and that he was conflicted about how his character ended and about how the story ended for his characters. So we know for a fact that that's not 100% true. And also, just because you have a gay actor that says, I liked this, doesn't mean that that speaks for gay, queer, trans people. That's just not how it works. Don't use your gay actor to fight criticism. God forbid you make something, put it out to people, and then just take the criticism instead of being a whiny fucking bitch and using some excuse to get out of it. Just accept it. You're bad fucking writers, especially when it comes to queer stories. And you objectively did a fucking awful job, and people hated your show so goddamn much in the end that it crashed the streaming service that literally dedicated itself to your fucking series. That's how fucking awful it was. You're bad people. And you want to not take criticism, then stop writing series if you can't take it. If you want to use someone else's name to throw under the bus, be my fucking guest, but don't write a story then. I said it to my brother Jack. There's a lot of conversation online about the idea if you can't write a queer story, then don't put queer people in the story. But what I think it comes down to, you can't write a queer story, don't write. If you can't write a black story, don't write. If you can't write a story that includes POC, don't write. Because there are lots of talented people that can do all of that in one story, in 12 episodes. You need 10 years to fail? No, you just shouldn't write. It's not the career for you. Come join me in a factory. It's doable. It's easy. It's good pay. You won't make $400 million, but you'll be able to make a living at least. And frankly, you deserve that if you can do your job. But you don't deserve $400 million when you can't do your job. And for my final note, eventually, probably in February, January, February, March? February, March will probably be a very long video about how Stranger Things failed its viewer base. And how it is a failure in what it originally claimed to be, which was for the outcasts and for those who are unseen traditionally. And how it will always be a failure, and how it will be one of the biggest setbacks in Hollywood we have had in a huge, long, long time. And I was nothing but a disappointment. And there will be a media channel about that video, which will have more points on what I talk about on this. But this is my cliff notes. So if you think this was long, lock in Kings and Queens, because it gets longer.
Yeah, stay tuned for that 4-hour main channel video.
Absolutely. And then I guess this is kind of Stranger Things, but not Stranger Things. To the person who wrote that Forbes article and said that to give an update to you, because you haven't seen it, you told me, and to the viewers who haven't seen it, there was a man who wrote a Forbes article about the general cultural impact of Stranger Things, and they talked about Byler in it. And their notes on Byler, and this Cliff Notes, obviously, if you want to read it, you can go read it. I wouldn't. Don't give him the view. He doesn't deserve it. Because the Cliff Notes for it is basically, he said, the Byler ship is perverted because shipping two men who are perceived as minors in a series is perverted and disgusting and pedophilic. However, he said that Maleven and Lucas and Max, Lou Max, if you will, was perfectly fine and dandy, and that they were a perfect couple, and he doesn't see why people have a problem with that relationship. And so what I will say to you, Forbes writer article, whatever the fuck you want to call it, that I don't know the name of because I'm never going to learn your name because you're an asshole, that's just homophobia. You're just homophobic. Because you think that queer love and queer joy has to be sexual in nature. Even though there was never a scene in Stranger Things once where Will mentioned a sexual desire towards Mike. There was never a conversation or a moment that even hinted at sexual desire for any of the romances. So for you to have the audacity to say that because it was gay, it was sexual, is horrible. And it really does prove the point that I made earlier in the podcast that casual homophobia is on the rise. And queer people, be careful, because it's out there. And it's getting higher, unfortunately. In our current political climate, we are in the pendulum swing where we are going backwards. We are up for debate, and people don't look at us as valuable members of society, and people are starting to see us as, once again, the boogeymans, the Frankensteins, the vampires, the evils under the covers. These are what these people see us as. And this is where I will say, it's really important that we need to stick together in times like these. Queerness and LGBTQ AI+ is about community, and we have lost that, I think, in a lot of ways, because we are so busy fighting each other on things when we need to be together. And that comes down to, when it comes to like Byler, for example, there are a lot of queer people online saying that Byler isn't that bad and that people just need to get over it because XYZ ship was worse. And it's just not about that. It just never was. Stop fighting other queer people. We don't need to fight each other. Just fucking be a community. We don't need to fight ourselves while we are actively being fought by the real enemy. Not the point. Not worth it. And if I can end Byler and Stranger Things on any note, it's that. Come together. Be with each other. Support one another. Rejoice in each other's joys. And also, you don't have to be upset for someone else, but at least acknowledge someone else's justified, I guess, doom and gloom around us being mistreated in life, in media, X, Y, and Z. And that's my own Stranger Things, because, like I said, I do want to make an entire dedicated video on it. I am, in case you're wondering, 4 scripts in now. I'm on my 4th rewrite of the script, because something keeps happening every week. So it will be a long process, because each script has gotten over 5 pages long, and I have to rewrite every single one of them. So, you know. I'm going to skip over, I think, my other topics, because we're at 1 hour and 35. Pookie? Chat. She's ignoring me. Chat. She doesn't even want to be here anymore.
Cut out.
Chat.
So when I cut out, it's my fault. And then when you cut out, it's also my fault.
Absolutely. Absolutely. No, I just said that I'm going to skip my other topics for this week, and I'm just going to do them next week, because we're at 1 hour and 35.
Wow.
1 hour and 37, actually, probably now.
Oh.
Yeah, I was right, 1 hour and 37.
Yeah.
So we're just going to do, you know what? I will save my December recap for next week, and we will just do our music of the week, and we will end it.
Okay, what have you been listening to?
You should go first. I think I have a lot more than you.
Damn. Okay, guys, gotta keep going with Hole in the Stars by Max.
Guys, Glass Animals, incoming.
Sure, what Glass Animal? I've been listening to Domestic Bliss by Glass Animals.
Yeah.
Tangerine, Glass Animals.
Yeah. Can we get another?
Conan
chat?
Gray.
Never ending song? Oh!
Never ending song.
I'm so proud of you for that. That.
Fuck, what's it? It's a Gorillaz song. Hold on. I forget what it's called though.
Anal beads in my ass.
The Lost Chord.
By
the Gorillaz.
Okay, back in the Gorillaz.
I've left them behind. I fear. And I need
You're
to
like,
back.
no, it's not true. Every other month. You like one month you're like Gorillaz, and then the next month you're like no Gorillaz, and then the next month you're like Gorillaz. It's like you're very, very flip-floppy with them.
I was just gifted the Demon Days album on CD. So I've been listening to that in the car.
And who's that by, Gorillaz?
Gorillaz, yes.
Okay.
So that's it for me. Just the entire album.
I've got the song called Back and Forth by Jack Mernon. I just found this artist, and I'm gonna be real with you. He is an artist that I don't think he's like somber to me, I guess, best way to put it. He's not like super influential or cool to me or new and innovative. He honestly to me feels like a Malcolm Todd replica. But Malcolm Todd has not released new music, so I'm like, I'll take what I can get, I suppose. Because this song, I actually don't really care for most of it, but he's got this lyric in it that's like, I don't want puppy love, I want what's for real, and then it goes into like a chorus, and it's a really good, like, that, like, bridge and chorus is really good. And I really like that part of the song, so it's really been motivating me. If you know, you know, kids. Then I have Silver Springs by Fleetwood Mac, which I kind of hate that I love, but also I'm like, love that I love, because if you don't know, I'm a massive Stevie Nicks fan. I have been for ages. I've always loved Stevie Nicks. But, so to me, this will always be a Stevie Nicks song, because, frankly, she carries it. I'm not sure if you've ever heard the song, Brooke. It's the one.
Give me lyrics.
Hold on, let me pull it up quickly. Because I want to make sure I get the lyrics right. Here it is. I'll follow you down to the sound of the woman that haunts you. That. Yeah. So that's Stevie Nicks who sings that, carries it. Like, just simply would not be the banger it is without her. Stevie Nicks carries all of Fleetwood Mac's music. Literally just everything Fleetwood Mac has ever done is thanks to Stevie Nicks. I stand on that fucking hill. I love Stevie Nicks as an individual artist, and I think that Fleetwood Mac just doesn't deserve the credit, and Stevie Nicks does. Because if you don't know the history also of Stevie Nicks versus Fleetwood Mac, it's kind of crazy and really funny. But there's a lot of adultery in that whole situationship that's going on, and it's really funny. So you should watch Nicole Raffi's. Is that her name? Right? Raffi?
Yeah.
She does the Chronically Online girl thing.
Oh, I love her.
Love her. She has an entire video dedicated to the Fleetwood Mac drama. You should watch it. It's so good. It's so awesome. And it'll make you love Stevie Nicks even more, because she's
I watched
in that
her
saga.
recap. I watched her recap of season 1 of Stranger Things.
I fear it's just not worth it if you don't know what's going on, babe.
No, because she recapped season 1.
Yeah, she recapped all the seasons.
Yeah, and I only watched the first one.
Anyways, my next song is Lover You Should Have Come by Jeff Buckley. That is my Byler song, kids. If you want a Byler song, that is the Byler song to me. The intro quite literally makes me tear up every time. It's this beautiful little, like, 3 notes that just are played do-do-do, like, back, and you instantly are like, instantaneously, I go, oh my god, this is so Byler. Love it. The next song is The Hand by Annabelle Dinda. Great song. Reminds me of Will Byers. Even though it's like a very feminist song, it's very like, to me, queer struggle as well. Where it's like, fuck it, I'll do it. I'm the bitch. I'm gonna have to do it. Florence by Malcolm Todd. Once again, if you're looking for a Byler song, that is one of my Byler songs. I love Florence by Malcolm Todd. So fucking good. Talking about how you can't be loved, you can't be in love, they will never love you, so on and so forth. I Want to Be a Kid Again by Lonely Song. This is my, once again, Will Byers song. Really good. Where Will Byers is just a kid who should have been a kid and just never got to be a kid. Also, very good Jane Hopper song. If you want a Jane Hopper song, just should have been a kid. I'm Not in Love by 10cc. Also a Byler song. You don't want to be in love, but unfortunately you are, kids. You have to get with it. The Longest Goodbye. This was a really good song if you're going through the motions of being sad that Byler didn't happen. This one really, really helped me get through it. It's a great breakup song where it's just role model talking about how him and the love of his life broke up. And it was the longest goodbye he ever had, but it had to happen, and he accepts that, and he's moving on now. It's a great move on song, really good, like, slow burn song, really like it. And then finally, I think the Byler song of all time, Take Me to Church by Hozier. Just eat your fucking heart out with that song, kids. So there's your Byler, Will Byers, Jane Hopper, Mike Wheeler songs of the week. And we are at an hour and 43 minutes. So do you have anything else to say, Brooke?
No.
Y'all are eating good tonight. Hope you enjoyed us yapping.
It's 9 p.m. We need to download these
After
Minecraft
this,
mods.
me and Brooke have to download Minecraft mods, and we have to build a fucking spawn room for
build a spawn room.
The server that we're building.
I got this.
Yeah, lock in, Queen, because we're going to be here for the next 8 hours. So.
Oh, hold on. Let me crack my back.
Yeah, lock in, Queen.
Got that. Okay.
I've been Enigma Bizarre and/or Riley, and this is my co-host, Baruch.
Hello, goodbye.
We are your crash out queens, and a good boy, love.
Bye.